Okay, two quick things before the Adam Silver stuff. So Benedict Matherin's going off in Summer League for the Pacers, just in case I don't do another Summer League video, there's that. And also, if you can hear my air conditioner, then my bad. So Adam Silver had some quotes the other day. It came first from Tim Reynolds on Twitter, and then I think Mark Stein added something to it as well. He was talking about the Kevin Durant situation, and he said, we don't like to see players requesting trades, and we don't like to see it playing out the way it is. And then, again, Mark Stein, I think, had more of the details there where it was specifically about, like, guys who just changed teams, looking to change teams again. And, I mean, yeah, you can look at the Nets situation and how quickly it came together with KD, Kyrie, and Harden, and potentially how quickly it's all going to unravel. And, I mean, you know, there's the Ben Simmons situation within that as well. To me, look, whether the players truly run the league or not, the impression is out there, and clearly they don't love that. Now, as far as players wanting out of situations, I mean, I think I've always been pretty consistent in a player has the right to go, this is a mess, get me out of here. Team also has a right to trade a guy. I know that's obvious, but like it's a two-way street, and I think the details are really what matters. And although sometimes the details are still like, I don't know, I mean, I still don't know who to blame for the Kawhi being out of San Antonio. Do I blame the Spurs for misdiagnosing an injury and putting pressure on him, or do I blame Kawhi for just going radio silent? I don't know. Of course, there are times when it's not as gray area, like James Harden being late to training camp and just being out of shape and then egging the Rockets on to trade him as much as possible. That was just lame. Harrison Barnes also being traded while he was in a game and he had to leave the game. Like, yeah, that was goofy as well from the NBA. So I'm not saying it's perfect on any side or whatever, but let's just think about, like, okay, the NBA really wants to try to find some sort of something in the CBA to try to give a little more power back to teams, I guess. Well, here's the thing. Number one, I feel like anything related to, because I've seen a little bit of this, guy requests trade, I guess specifically for like max contract dudes, guy loses percentage on his money. The Players Association is never going to go for that, which I'm fine with because I think that's a little too aggressive. By the way, I mentioned the Players Association. I believe there is an early opt-out for the CBA in a year or two, and the current one expires like 2 or 3 years. So if you have any fear about a lockout because of player movement, player empowerment, all that, I mean, it might be fair for you to be like, we might have like a 60-game season in like 4 years here or something. Anyway, another thing I've seen suggested is, I'm guessing this was specifically just for like max contracts or near max contracts, because one thing we got to remember is there's over 300 players in the NBA, and we're talking about, I don't know, 10 high-profile trades over the last whatever seasons. The idea of a guy can't be traded for at least like a year, possibly 2, after the extension has been put in place. I mean, I see the idea behind that, and trust me, in my perfect NBA, most guys would be with their team for at least like 3 years because I just like the idea of building something up and all that. But when you put it into absolute writing, something about that makes me feel uneasy, and I think it's the potential of a team is just a total mess and a guy just can't get out of there for a couple seasons. Of course, the obvious response to that is, well, you signed a deal. And I guess this goes to a larger point, which is, what the hell are we doing with max contracts and super max contracts and them being determined by all NBA? And I mean, every single voter, people who have podcasts, they all say the same thing, which is like, I don't enjoy this. I don't like voting and knowing that my vote dictates if this guy's going to get like X amount of extra money on a contract, you know what I mean? But the other thing too is it puts teams in an awkward spot because you have guys who are really good, like John Wall back however many years ago, and if you're the Wizards, it's like, yeah, you're going to max the dude, and then immediately it's like, well, we just gave John Wall all that money, and, well, here we go. And to go off of that, I mean, yeah, like, obviously the team that you stay with can give you more money than anybody else, but it seems like the potential way for that to go super south is you agree to deal and then you just want out immediately, right? Look, I don't know, dude. You want me to try to find the perfect balance between having some sort of consistency in the league and players can't just be like, all right, I'm cool here, let me go somewhere else, while also keeping the pressure on the front offices to have a competent thing going on? I don't have it. I don't know what it is. The other thing, is the mid-season tournament. So there's some stuff about how this could create extra games. I was under the impression that a mid-season tournament would be like woven into the regular season, but I guess like if it's some sort of an elimination thing, then yeah, it would create extra games, which means the incentive for it better be really good. But the general vibe of the mid-season tournament is like, nobody wants this thing, basically. Just go down the Twitter replies to it. So my initial take on this thing was, let's just see it, because, I don't know, it could be cool. It could spice up the regular season a bit. But if it's creating extra games, which is more risk for injury and all that, then I have a tougher time being in the, well, let's just see how it goes phase of it, you know? And that's mainly because I think the NBA regular season is already a bit jacked up, to be honest. I mean, number one, I just think it's too many games for what they try to fit it in, especially if it's also a playoff team and then they got to go through that grind. Or if you got the play-in tournament, you know, you're playing for that. But also, I remember there was a thing a couple years ago, like you can Google just NBA sleep deprivation. You get this long quote by Tobias Harris where he's like, yeah, this is a huge deal that nobody really talks about, but if you want to try to fit in a tournament within the season and potentially add a couple of games, and there's already a problem with travel and all that, like I don't love it, man.